Hello, it's Paul. I'm going to answer this question properly from Almira, who asked in the ticket support. We would like to restrict users to convert leads, only give certain users permissions after certain criteria has been met to convert. Criteria would be signed contracts, and then only accounts can convert. Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to restrict lead conversion from a user, and then make a process that when that user says this is ready to convert, we're going to send a message, or we're going to push it forward for admin or accounts or whoever it may be to approve, right? So this is where we'll start. I'll put the links to each area in the training. If you watch it on YouTube, I'll put start times. If you're watching it in my training, I'll put start times in the description. If you pause me at this point though, tell me why you're here. Tell me what you're looking to do, because it might not be exactly like this in this video, but I will reply to your comment and try and give you a better direction if you need something else. And if this helps, obviously a subscribe would be brilliant. Right, first things first, we're going to restrict a user's ability to convert a lead, right? So I'm logged in on Chrome as me, as the admin, as Paul, the head guy, right? On the Safari, I'm logged in as Max Salesman. That's what this user's called, I think. Yeah, Max Salesman. So currently on leads, if I go to a lead, here we go. If I go to a lead, obviously I've been messing about, but there's a convert button. We don't want the convert button. So how do we do that, right? It's really easy to do actually, but it's not so obvious. We're going to go up here to settings, which is the spanner and the screwdriver. Go to users here, security control we're going to go to. We're going to go to users, and it's going to be Max Salesman that we're going to restrict, and he's a standard user, right? So we want to change this standard user. So we're going to go to here, security control. Obviously admins, everything standard. You can't tinker with the standard version, otherwise you can just turn it off. So what I'm going to do is do new profile and just call it basic, right? You might want to call it salesman, no conversion, or basic sales level 1, right? Whatever it is, sales level 1. I don't know what you're going to call it, right? But let's just call it basic. So I've created a basic profile, and obviously everything's turned on. And at this point, leads can view, create, edit, and delete. Contacts can do, and you can go through and turn all these off. But what you want to do specifically for this example is go here to tools, and it's going to say convert, right? And you can say you can't convert a quote, can't convert sales orders, can't convert leads, right? Or you could just do leads, right? But in this example, we're going to say you cannot convert anything, right? I think it automatically saves. Yeah, it did. Right, so now when I go back to user roles, when I go back to users, there's obviously back in security control, there's now a basic function, right? So let's just recheck here. This is Max Salesman. I refresh on contacts. There's a convert button, right? I want this to go. Next time I refresh it, I want that to be gone. So I'm going to go Max Salesman. I'm going to change him here to profile to basic. Save. And when I refresh this, I'm hoping that convert button's gone. Here she comes. Come on, Zoe, you're a bit slow today. Slow-ho. And then now, no convert button, right? So now this salesman can create a lead, but cannot convert it. So that's the first part of the equation done. We've got a new user role, a profile that we're going to say is basic. You cannot convert, right? Right. So now we've said to the salesperson, you cannot convert a lead. So we need some sort of checkbox, some sort of status, something for the salesperson to say, this can be ready to be approved, and it can be a tag. You just approval needed. It can be a checkbox. It can be a status change. It can be what you want it to be. For this really simple example, we're going to put up here. We're going to put a checkbox that you're going to tick that says ready for approval, right? Salesman's done the job, done whatever they need to do, tick a box, right? So what we're going to do is create that box first. Firstly, we're going to go up to here, setup, modules and file fields even. We're going to go leads for this example, standard. I've got some other test ones here, but your 99% time I'm going to say standard, right? Whatever layout you want to edit. I'm going to click a checkbox. I'm going to put a checkbox here, right? And just put, let's call it ready to convert. Or let's say ready for approval, yeah? We're going to leave it like that. Save it. It'll automatically mean it's unchecked to start with. You can make it checked if you want to. You want to do the reverse way around. But for this example, we're going to keep it easy. We're going to say ready for approval, right? So in leads for Max Salesman now, there's going to be, oh, I don't know why I just clicked there. There's going to be, when I refresh that page, ready for approval. So what we want to do is once the salesperson's happy, tick this box, fires it through to the accountant or whoever to approve, right? So next stage is doing that. How do we set up the approval? We're going to go back to setup. We're going to go to approval process and we're going to create an approval process, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to pick leads because that's what we're working on, and we're going to say convert approval, whatever you want to call it. That doesn't sound right. Ready for approval, right? Now you can do it on record creation or record edit, and most of you will say, well, it'll need to be on record edit, but I know some of you salespeople, you fire it in straight away. So I would do record creation as well, just in case they tick that box to start with, right? Add rule process, and then what is the criteria of triggering it, right? So how do we trigger this rule? We're going to trigger it by, what do we call it? Contract status. Sometimes you have to refresh approval. Ready for approval. So just search whatever you put. Sometimes you have to refresh the page. Ready for approval is selected. So it's been ticked. Who should approve? So then we're going to say user or roles or groups. Depends what you want to select. So we're going to pick a user. What you would probably pick is whoever's gonna need to approve it, obviously, right? So if you've got one accountant, pick the accountant. If you've got a level of role, pick the role. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick me. Pretend I'm the accountant. Pretend I'm the person who needs to trigger it. And you can here assign a task and create a task saying you must approve it. I'm not going to do that because it's just going to add to the thing. You know how to assign a task. Now, if I was approving stuff, I would just keep an eye on what needs to be approved anyway. But as I say, you can send a message or a task. Once I approve it, what am I going to do? Assign a field, assign a task, email notification, update a field. You don't have to actually do anything here if you're just approving it, because what's going to happen is you're going to convert it, right? And you can assign a function or something to create the conversion direct, but you don't have to, in theory, change anything. But you can update a field or do anything like that. It's up to you what you want to happen next, is what I'm saying. For me, it's gonna allow the conversion box to come through. So you don't necessarily have to put anything here. If you go to reject whatever's been said, you can update a field and uncheck approval. What was it? Approval. Ready for approval. You can make the value untick again, right? Untick. Email notification, call function, whatever you want to do. But at this stage, all I'm wanting to do is when that salesman ticks that box, is that I'm going to get an approval. I'm going to have to approve this lead, right? So here we go. So salesman comes in. It's going to do the new lead. Going to create a new lead, right? So let's go through the process. Right, we're going to create a new lead, right? So up the top, company, like this point, you could tick that if you wanted to. Testing 17, 15. I've got so many tests. Testing 17, 15. Job type, whatever you've got. Fill out whatever information you want and save it, right? So at this point, convert button's not there. Nothing else has happened. You do your thing, you do all your calls, and now it's ready for approval. So when we tick ready for approval. Up the top now we've got waiting for approval, right? Waiting for approval. So you're now finished as a salesman. If I go back to my leads here, maybe if I was the person who was going to be approved, we could what you would probably do is have some sort of filter in your views. Here's 2 things that are waiting for approval for me. You would probably set up a task in that previous video to create a task to say approve it. You see the little locked. This one's locked. It's waiting for whoever, in this case me, to approve it. So I'm going to go into this one. Waiting for approval. I'm the person who's going to approve it. Respond. Yes, all good. Or reject it. So I could put, let's just test this. No, not all paper is here. Right, reject it. Go back here. I'm not sure where that note goes actually. I don't know if it goes in notes or not. Job type history. So we need to resubmit it, right? So then we tick again, do your information, tick again. Waiting for approval. Back to here. Just proves the rejection works. I'm not exactly sure where the note goes. It probably sent him an email. Respond. Yep. Oh, good. Approve. Well, up the top, we now have the convert button, and I can convert that lead because I'm allowed to. So hopefully that made sense. We're all about adding that module, adding the trigger. You know, what are they going to click? What are they going to change to say this is ready? And it may just be a tag, maybe a field like I used to tick. It may be a document that you've got to upload and a field that you've got to tick. Then we're going to go to the approval process. Say what happens when it triggers. Are we going to email somebody? Are we going to set somebody a task? And then when that person approves it, are we going to change a field? Or are we going to leave it just so it's unlocked? And then we're going to have a rejection. We're going to have a rejection option as well for someone to do more work, right? So hopefully that made sense, and hopefully it was easy to do. I think that's an easy way of doing it, the way it was asked. Any questions, as always, come to. You can either come to my Zoho training forum. You can ask it on my YouTube videos. I will always try and help. You can come in here. All you got to do is go to got questions. And go, in fact, you don't have to go to any of these, but just go new topic, right? Type in your Zoho questions. You can send me a message, or you can write on my comments, or you can come to any of the Zoho training and ask any questions inside each lessons. The Zoho training for Zoho CRM, the full training here. You can dive in, and in any lesson, you can ask in the comments below. Hope that helps. Let me know how else I can help you guys. Cheers.